All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining us on our Thursday morning virtual coffee mastermind. So excited to see everyone. Our feature presenter this morning is Gus Munoz, who he actually runs an ISA company and he knows about making phone calls. And he actually has been using some new IA to make some phone calls. And I'm super excited for him to share with us how this cool technology is changing the way the real estate business works and making it so much easier for realtors once you get the hang of it. Might take it's a little bit of a learning curve, but once you get the hang of it. So if everyone else could mute so that we don't have that background noise. Gus, thank you so much for being here and being willing to share this with all of us. I am turning it over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Debbie. Hey, glad to be here, and talking about this interesting topic. Debbie, can I share my screen? Is that, yeah,
Yeah,
if you can turn that on.
I'm so sorry. I should have made
No worries.
you co-host before that. There you go.
Ready.
Now.
Okay, great. So I have a whole presentation and everything. So it's fancy. All right. Welcome, folks. Today, we're going to talk about a topic that I know is interesting to a lot of folks. It's around the broader topic of AI in real estate, AI. And as you guys know, AI, what we call, this latest generation, generative AI, because I'm old enough to remember, what was called the third AI wave back in the 90s. I don't know if anyone remembers that AI was going to take over the world and really pushed by Japan and other emerging economies, and that was a lot of hype, and nothing really happened. I don't know if you guys remember that or not, but it was a huge AI wave in the 1990s that didn't really come to pass, right? It didn't really have a lasting effect. Well, this is now called the fourth AI wave, generative AI, a different approach, a different kind of technology, and it burst onto the scene, year and a half, a little bit more than a year and a half ago, with ChatGPT. That was like the first user-friendly, user experience way to use this new generation of AI. And since, December of a year and a half ago, 2022, we've seen a bunch of different new tools, new companies, new technologies burst onto the scene that use generative AI in a bunch of different ways. I don't know, and maybe you guys can drop in the chat. I'd love to hear, are you using AI, in your business in any way, shape, or form? Because at my company, Power ISA, we use it every single day, mostly, and because I did an audit with my team, and I said, what are we using generative AI for, right? And on the marketing side, we're using it to create copy. And people are asking ChatGPT to help them come up with a better way to say things, right? That's a simple one. We're using it to generate shorts, because one of the things I love to do most is talks like this. I love doing webinars. I love teaching classes. I have the heart of a teacher. My mom and dad are both teachers, so I come from that background. And the long form content is what I do best. I'm not good at short form content. I'm not native enough to those kinds of platforms where I love the TikToks and the Reels and the Shorts. But with the magic of AI, you can take one of my 30, 40, 50-minute videos and turn it into 36 30-second clips, 60-second clips, almost automatically, right? Like, boom, it just generates them. It focuses my face, puts in the subtitles, and it knows what the best chunks of that 45-minute talk are, which is kind of amazing, right? Another thing that my team uses it for the most is emails, okay? Like emailing with clients, emailing with vendors when they want to say something more diplomatically, they want to say something more formally, they want to take the emotion out of it. I'm angry, but I don't want to write an angry email. ChatGPT, help me write this email where I say this, this, and this. Or ChatGPT, what's a good response to this response that conveys these different feelings, right? So those are the top ways that we're using AI, in the business. I'd love to let me take a peek and see what people are using it for across their business. ChatGPT for everything, absolutely, we do 100%. There we go, and Love that. So yeah, people are using it to set appointments. All right, setting appointments. Oh, because another, and this is what I want to get to for this presentation, another space that we're using it more recently than the others, more recently, is to convert leads into appointments. Okay. We're using AI to convert leads into appointments. One of the more popular ways is using chatbots, right? A generative AI chatbot, which is just a chatbot that can carry on a much more complicated conversation, a much more rich conversation to get a lead, to go from new lead into booked appointment, or from new lead, at least a qualified new lead, right? They've got some information, you know who they are, what they're looking for, kind of what they need. That is something we're using it for a lot for. And we're also using it for this to make phone calls. Okay. And that's what a lot of people are like, what do you mean make phone calls? How is that even possible? Well, it 100% is possible. And that's what today's talk is going to be about. I'm going to teach you what the latest and greatest technology is to do this, right? What it sounds like. And in my opinion, what are the best uses for it right now? And I'm talking about summer 2024. What are the best use cases for this? All right, let's jump into it. Here's the agenda. We're going to be talking about, state of the art. I'm going to give you a little bit of background on voice, AI voice specifically, compliance, scenarios, all that fun stuff. Okay. So this demo, this is like a clip from a TikTok video, right? That went viral about a year ago, June of 2023. This is from a company called Air AI. And they did this demo where an AI voice agent set an appointment. I think one of them was with an Apple customer, a customer of Apple computer, another one, a Tesla customer, right? And they were calling to confirm their appointment and get some information and get them booked, right? So this went, this was not, this was wild, this went crazy, and we tested it out. So me at Power ISA, we run one of the largest ISA teams in North America. So we have hundreds of people that we work with to get them a great caller, a great appointment setter, a great cold caller. So we're always on the lookout for new technology. When this burst onto the scene, over a year ago, we're like, what is this, right? I didn't expect this to jump out and be useful so quickly. So we tested it out a year ago. And let me tell you, it was rough around the edges. The technology wasn't really there yet. The demo looked great, but when you actually use the tool, it was still a little bit rough. There was a lot of lag in the call. It wasn't very responsive. It couldn't generate some great responses yet. That was last year, okay? But lo and behold, right? About around last December, around 7-8 months ago, just in a few short months, we saw the technology grow by leaps and bounds. We said, holy cow, this got a lot better. I think we're ready to try this out in the marketplace. And in February of this year, we launched the beta. So let's try and get some people in. And that's where we started with our like AI voice, adventure. Okay. But you might have seen AI voice in the news. I don't know if you guys, if you saw this, a headline, out in the world, a fake song from the rapper Drake became a hit. It was trending on Spotify, became a huge hit on the internet, and it was a fake song. He didn't sing the song. He didn't create the song. They had to take down this song because he threatened everyone to sue them because this was created using AI. Okay, an AI voice version of him created a new song, which was pretty crazy. But not only that, right? Even Drake, the artist, he made a song using AI because he thought the technology was so good, sampling the voice of a deceased person, right? Tupac Shakur, for the people, 90s kids out there. He's a pretty famous rapper from the 90s. Well, he brought him back to life and sampled him for his song, and his family didn't like that, right? So he had to take down that song because he was using generative AI to create, someone singing on one of his songs, which is kind of crazy. But not only that, these are some of the kind of funny cases that we saw AI voice burst onto the scene. We also saw I don't know if you guys saw this headline. Okay, someone was arrested for creating a fake AI voice of someone saying some terrible things and getting them fired. Trying to get someone fired, they created something terrible, trying to smear their reputation. Right. So, folks, the genie's out of the bottle here. There's all these different use cases out there that are possible. But I'm here to talk about, I want to keep you guys within the bounds. We want to do things legally. We want to do things the right way because this technology is becoming more and more powerful, okay? There's a lot of different players that are emerging, right? These are some of the probably the biggest vendors out there right now. These are platforms. These folks provide the voice platform for us to use for appointment setting, for real estate, for customer service, for tech support. These are the underlying tools that you can use to create these AI voice agents. Okay, these are the different ones you can see: Bland AI, Synthflow. Synthflow is a London-based company. Air is a U.S. company. SimpleTalk's U.S. Bland is also in the U.S. San Francisco. So we've got these different vendors that are emerging, and it's an arms race. They're all racing to try and become one of the dominant players in this emerging space. It's kind of crazy to see. But here, guess what? There's also a compliance aspect you've got to be careful with, all right? And we got a lot of clarity on this earlier this year, because when this technology first emerged, you probably won't be surprised. The number one use case was robocall, was cold calling. People wanted to cold call with AI. Why? Because cold calling is really hard to do, okay? No one likes to do cold calling, right? And I run a huge cold calling company. It's hard to find a really good cold caller. Well, guess what? That's what people wanted to use AI for. But in February of this year, the FCC gave us some clarity and said, guess what? This is considered a robocall in the US. You can't do it without express written consent, okay? You cannot use an AI voice agent, an AI call, to call someone that didn't give you permission to do that, all right? And that's the same standard that we use for texting. It's the same standard we use for a lot of other things. It's the highest standard you can ask for when you're talking about lead generation, lead conversion, okay? So I'll show you some examples of what this means. If you look at, this is a Zillow submission form. If you go on to Zillow.com and you look at the fine print, it's already asking you to give consent in that little, small text. So Zillow is already trying to do this and incorporate this into their business. So you should incorporate it into your business as well. Same thing with Realtor.com. You can already see them making sure their bases are covered and that you give them permission to call you with an AI agent. Okay. All right. So that is, I'm setting the table. That's the background. Let's jump into, given these constraints, given these rules, and you want to be compliant. I want to be compliant. I hope you guys want to be compliant too. This is what you should be using AI voice in your business, AI voice. These are two main scenarios. Okay? One is the obvious one, new leads. When a new comes in, you can call them, right? Using an AI agent. You can call them, you can try to get in touch with them, you can call them once, you can call them twice, you can do our inbound lead calling campaign. We recommend at least a 7 calls in 7 days campaign to get people to talk to you, right? The other scenario that's compliant is calling older uncontacted leads. You don't have to stop at 7 days. It can be a week later, 2 weeks later, 30 days later, et cetera, right? As long as these folks have given you consent to contact them, you're going to be covered. You're going to be okay. The scenario that's not legal right now in the US is cold calling. That's the one you can't do with AI. Okay. That makes sense. And just so you guys know, we checked this with our attorney. There's a really good telemarketing attorney in the country, Alan McClellan, and they checked this for us. So you know what? This is where we're at. This is the state of the art. This is where the current, compliance is at. Is that going to be a year from now? I don't know. There's a pretty big election this year. We'll see if it has any impact. But my gut tells me that the robocall designation is going to stay. And if anything, we might see more legislation coming later. I don't think we're going to roll back all the way where we can do cold calling without constraint. I don't think it's going to happen, right? So this feels about right where it should be. So how to prepare one of these AI bots? You jump on one of these companies, you create an voice agent. This is what you've got to do to get it ready to call for real estate. You got to pick one, right? You got to pick a platform, whether that's Bland or Air AI, doesn't really matter. You've got to train it for real estate. You've got to optimize it for a scenario. You got to say, hey, this AI voice agent, you've got to give it a script. And it's only going to be good for one script. That's what we found. Trying to train these AI bots to do, Google leads and Facebook leads and new leads and old leads. That's it's not a great way to do it. You should do it per scenario, per lead source, per script. The same way you would train an ISA to use a specific script, you're training these bots to learn a specific script and the objections and everything you want it to say. Then you got to test it out. Folks, This is brand new technology. It's generative AI. What does that mean? That even if you give it a script, it's going to do its best to complement your script. It's not just going to say exactly what you want it to say. Because guess what? Calls don't work that way. The person you're talking to can have objections, they can have weird questions you've never thought of. And the difference between AI and a regular bot is that AI can adapt to those different questions and they can do its best to give them the right response. It's pretty crazy. But there's also going to be bugs, and you've got to fix those and you've got to evaluate this. Okay. That's how these things work at a high level. What we do at Power ISA and our voice service that we've launched is called Power ISA Voice. The way that we implement this is that once a lead is generated, right, whether that's from Google or that's from Facebook, when that lead is generated, we get a notification, right, at Power ISA, and that launches our AI bot. Okay, it says, "Hey, we got a new lead from Facebook. It's calling them. Let's go." Or if it's an older lead list, we also get a notification. This is an older lead. Let's create a contact for it and let's make a call. The AI gets a response. It's talking to the person. It's trying to book an appointment or a live transfer. And then we try to send those notes over to you. Okay, what the result of that call was. Was it an appointment? Was it a live transfer? Or let's say they don't want to book an appointment, but they gave us a lot of really good information, right? We're going to get all that information out to you as well. All right. This is the basics of how any of these tools are going to work. This is how we've implemented this for a lot of clients over the last few months. All right. So, and Debbie, if people drop a question or something, I'll help me out in case anyone has any specific questions. I'd love to get to anybody's questions. Drop them in the chat. And Debbie, if you can help me identify some of those questions, because there's a lot of comments in the chat, I might miss it. So let me know if anyone wants to stop, because I talk pretty fast, guys. That's the biggest feedback I get, that I talk pretty fast in these things. So let me know if you want any specific questions answered. I'm going to move on to what a lot of these benchmarks are. Okay. When we're talking about, because when we were testing this out in the beta, right, over the last few months, what we wanted to answer a really basic question: how does this AI technology compare to a real person making calls? And we are in a unique position to know exactly what that comparison should be, because we have a massive, human ISA team, right? We have a massive team doing this every day. So when we started using AI, that was the first question we wanted to answer. How good is it compared to a real person doing the exact same job? So typically, if you're talking about inbound leads, typically an ISA can achieve the following. They can contact about 30 to 40% of leads in 30 days. You generate 100 leads, they're going to talk to about 30, 40 of them within 30 days if they're calling, if they're texting. Okay. The appointment set rate, and we're using Facebook as a benchmark. You can convert about 10 to 15% of new inbound Facebook leads. These are just typical lead form leads in about 30 days. Okay. That's an average. That's an average range. Usually you need about 16 call attempts to accomplish that within 30 days. All right, folks, I'm going to show you a demo. So you know what? I think I need to share my sound. Let me turn on the sharing button again one more time to make sure I actually share my sound this time, because if I don't share my sound, I don't think it's going to work. So let me do this. Okay, here we go. Share sound. I see it. All right. So I'm going to play you guys a demo, and let me know real quick if you can hear this. Make sure it's being shared. So let's try that again. Hold on. Let's see. Can you guys hear that?
No.
It's breaking up.
Okay, let's see. Try. And the beginning of the call is a little bit scratchy. Let's see if you can hear the rest of it.
Hi, it's Sam over at the. We got your message from Facebook, and I just wanted to ask: have you been looking for homes for long, or just getting started?
So we blocked out the names. I didn't want to, publish that, with this recording. But they're answering, and they're giving them to find themselves. It's a typical intro to a script.
So we want to send over the homes listed, and I want to make sure we send you the right homes. Tell me a little about what you're looking for in your next home.
for 3 bedrooms, bath, car garage, and I wanted on the north side, preferably Bandera, 1604 area.
That's all right. We're looking for a bedroom, 2 bath, 2-car garage, and it to be on the north side, preferably in the Bandera 1604 area. Got it. And need to sell before you buy a new home?
No.
Okay, got you. You currently own or rent a home?
I own a home.
Got it. And do you need to sell before you buy your new home?
No.
All right. And do you know when you'll be ready to make the move?
This year, the beginning of the year, yes.
Roger that. Well, based on the conversation, I have 2 resources that I think would really help you out. The first list of homes under $350K that you requested, and the second is a free consultation call with my expert agent, Carlos. Can I set those up for you?
Mm-hmm. Yes, please.
We have a Wednesday at 12 p.m. CDT or a Wednesday at 1 p.m. CDT slot available. Which one works best for you?
Wednesday.
I'll lock in that time for you.
All right, so let's, I won't go through the rest of it because it's just confirming email and time and everything, but that's a real call. There's a little bit, if you guys can notice, there's a little bit of it's there. They asked a question twice. That's really the only kind of bug I give you on this call. I think this is a real appointment. It got it booked and it got the job done, right? Not every single call is going to end in an appointment, but you can still have a really good conversation. Check out this one.
Hey, Luis.
Yeah, who's this?
Hi, it's Sam over at the Carlos Gonzalez team. We got your message from Facebook, and I just wanted to ask, have you been looking for homes for long or just getting started?
Oh, no. We're just kind of looking right now.
That's all right, no problem. Just out of curiosity, what made you reach out to us on Facebook if you're not actively looking for homes?
No, I just wanted to look at those homes, right? I'm just kind of looking at homes right now, but we're not interested in making moves.
I totally understand. Sometimes it's just fun to browse through homes and see what's out there, even if you're not planning to make a move right now. By the way, do you currently own or rent a home?
Right now, I'm renting.
Got it. You're currently renting. And do you know when you'll be ready to make the move from renting to owning a home?
Well, thinking about maybe, in a couple of years, need to get some situations taken care of, but maybe in a couple of years.
Wow, that's quite a while out. Just curious, what's holding you back from making a move sooner? Any specific situations or factors that you're considering?
Well, like I mentioned, yeah, there's a few things that, we need to work on. I really.
So we had to block out a little bit of this call because some personal information is
Yeah,
shared.
it makes sense why you'd want to take care of those things first. It's always important to be in the right position before making a big decision like buying a home. If you don't mind me asking, what are some of the things you feel you need to work on before making a move?
Yeah, well, I mean, like I mentioned, I need to work on my credit, and so we don't feel like we're ready right now.
I see. Working on your credit is definitely a smart move before diving into the home buying process. It's important to feel financially prepared and secure. Just remember, taking the time to improve your credit will ultimately put you in a better position when you're ready to make a move. If you ever need any tips or advice on improving your credit, feel free to reach out to us. We're here to help. By the way, we have a list of homes under $350,000 that you requested. Would you like us to send it over to you?
Yeah, I would like to look at those homes.
All right, so I'm going to end it there. So, I mean, and those are some real examples you guys can check out. And I saw a couple of the comments. So yeah, the tonality. I mean, you can kind of if you're paying attention to the call, you can kind of tell, it's an AI bot or some kind of automation. I think it's possible to tell that. I don't think the tonality is usually the kind of the giveaway. But one of the things that kind of surprises me the most probably is that even with those kinds of limitations, people will interact with these bots, right? They'll have a conversation, especially if the bot has something you want, because the inbound lead is inbound for a reason. They want a home valuation. They want a list of homes. There's something they want. And if they see that if interacting with the bot is going to get them what they want, people will play along with that, either because of novelty, because it's useful, and it's pretty easy to kind of understand, right? So I think that's kind of the interesting part of it. But those are the demos. That's what it sounds like. And some of these calls, I'll be honest with you guys, can be even cringy to listen to, right? Because one of the biggest issues with these bots, even right now, is that it's very sensitive to like background noise, right? So if you're in a crowded room or there's like a TV in full blast behind you, the AI bot cannot tell the difference between an AI, like a voice from the TV talking to it and you talking to it, okay? And that's kind of obvious for us as people to kind of figure that out. But the technology can kind of struggle with some of those things. And it's getting better at that. But that's the reality. That's what some of the caveats we've got, right? So real quick, to finish off, I'm going to talk about some of the latest results we've gotten with clients using this in the wild, using it right now, okay? Here's one of the case studies. This is, only a few weeks ago, 39 new leads from Facebook ads, 46% contact rate in just 11 days, okay? This usually takes a regular human ISA a month to do. It can do it in only 11 days. It's persistent. It doesn't forget to make calls, and it's calling. It booked 4 appointments in 11 days with those leads. That's around a 10% conversion rate. And that's typically what we can see, okay? So the AI bot doesn't outperform a human ISA in the testing we've done. It doesn't outperform them, but it can get to that range, to the bottom end of that range. So it's close to what a real person can do, which is kind of wild to look at, okay? These are some of the results from an old rekindling campaign. What does this mean? We're calling old leads that registered days ago, weeks ago, months ago, to try and find and fisher some of these appointments. These are 8 appointments that were generated from old leads over the span of 1 week, right? And these are leads that no one was calling. No one was calling these leads, and this team was able to get 8 booked appointments like right off the bat automatically. For this client, the AI was calling a batch of older leads, and it booked 4 in a single day for them, right? And these, some of these numbers are impressive. And I sometimes tell people, like, crazy things happen if you actually pick up the phone and call some of your leads, right? Some of these teams just have hundreds, if not thousands of leads, and they don't even have the resources to do that. They don't have the ability to do that. But, if you make the call, good things will happen. You make the call, really good things can happen, right? So I've got a couple other examples. Here's another case study. 71 leads generated in 2.5 weeks. This is from Facebook as well. Facebook Homes List ad. 71 leads generated, 2.5 weeks. 35 of those leads were contacted, 49%. That also outperforms a human ISA. 14% appointment booked rate. This is still in that range. It's performing in that human range. And if you include the AI texting, this person did AI calling and AI texting, they were able to talk to 60% of the leads that came in, which is that's really hard to do. Okay, it's really hard to talk to 60% of your leads within a 30-day period. If you use AI calling combined with AI texting, you can get those kind of crazy good numbers. Now, for those of you that are interested, right, when we put one of the teams, one of our clients actually put this side by side with a human ISA. So they had a group of leads and they had an AI ISA calling them, and they had a real human ISA calling them at the same time, like side by side, trying to see what would happen. And I was thrilled. I'm like, this is awesome, because a lot of our people that were in the beta, they had one or the other. They either had they were doing just human ISAs, or they were just doing AI. Most of them were just doing AI with no ISA in the background. This client did both at the same time for the same amount of leads. So here are the results real quick. So they generated 53 leads over 2.5 weeks. So the AI, again, this is calling the same leads, guys. They're competing, all right? So any one result is going to be lower because they're competing against each other. It's a zero-sum game. An appointment for the AI is one less appointment for the human, right? So the AI was able to contact 30% of the leads that they got, and they were able to book 3 appointments. The ISA, human ISA, calling the same leads over the same period, was able to contact slightly less, 26.4%, and was able to get 2 booked appointments, okay? So in that head-to-head, side-by-side comparison, the AI got a little bit of an edge. Nothing that I would say is conclusive, oh, it's over, not really. But the fact that they were that close in the same range is pretty wild. If you blend these 2 results, right? Because again, at the end of the day, the team wants results. They're not interested in competition. They want the best result possible. If you blend these results, 56% contact rate, 9.4 appointment booked rate, right? And if you add AI texting, the results got even better, okay? Which is pretty wild. So to finish up, some of the surprises, in my opinion, this performed better than what we expected, right? We weren't sure what was going to happen. The technology is still emerging. It's still new. It's still rough around the edges. It's way better than it was a year ago and getting better every day, but it's wild. The technology is also bilingual. I don't know if you guys knew that. And some of the new vendors we're testing right now, they can use multiple languages, French, German, English, and other 8 languages. It's wild. It's pretty crazy. The contact rate, the best contact rate we saw was a human IS plus AI plus texting, which is pretty big. To get these campaigns up and running, you need about 1 or 2 weeks of testing to really dial it in, get it ready to go. That's what we learned, because right off the bat, you're going to have some bugs, you got to fix, right? And you're going to see improvement on this technology every single week. There are, of course, some pitfalls, okay? Now, a lot of people are willing to play along with these AI bots because there's a little bit of a novelty factor. People think it's cool. People think it's interesting. I think that helps a lot. Like I mentioned, it is very sensitive to that background noise. We saw, a little bit of funny calls because the AI would answer someone that wasn't talking to them, not the person, right? So it can get confused that way, right? In our opinion, it doesn't fully replace a human ISA, at least not yet, primarily because it can't do nurturing yet, okay? AI is really good at the first call, the first contact with the lead, which is usually the hardest one to get. It's really good at that first contact. It is not great at the second call, third call, fourth call with a person you've already spoken to. It lacks context, okay? But as the technology matures, we might even see that. So, as always, people that have attended my classes or my webinars, I always have a special offer. If you folks are interested, shoot me a message or jump on powerisa.com. We've got a special end of the month sale going on. You can get 50% off the startup if you guys want to try out, AI voice. It's pretty crazy. I think for people that don't have someone making calls for them and you're generating internet leads, this can be really interesting technology to find out. If you already have someone on your team making calls, this might be something that can augment and increase your call coverage and get you better results. All right, that's it, folks. Debbie, you want to do the breakouts? You want to open up questions? What do you want to do?
Yes, so there is one question in here that says, how do we train the AI? I think that's a really long answer, but go for it.
Yeah, so the funny thing is, Debbie, we train it exactly the same way we train a human AI, in the sense that we listen to the call, we find issues that we think can improve, and we go and we tweak the script. That's it. Like that's how you fix bugs in the AI. That's how you train the AI. Because it's generative AI. When you heard the example calls I made, only about half of what you heard is scripted. So you guys know. Especially in the second call was a lot more. The second call kind of went sideways. The second call was not a booked appointment. The person was just saying no, no, no. And the AI was trying to empathize, was trying to tell him, oh, I understand, trying to get more information, trying to drill down. I wish all of my human ISAs showed the amount of empathy that bot showed, right? Because they understood, they're trying to be, just tell them it was not a big deal and just trying to find a way to help them out, right? And half of it is scripted, half of it is the AI kind of inferring what should happen next. When it makes a mistake in that inference, you got to go back and give it some guardrails. Hey, if someone asks this question, don't say this or say this, right? Like one of the guardrails we have early on, we added this really on, is out of the box. This is pretty funny. The technology tries to convince you that it's a real person. Like you're trying to ask it, hey, so are you an AI or are you a real person? Oh, I'm a real person, like out of the box. And people don't like that. Okay, let me just tell you that when someone knows that this is an AI bot and you're asking and it denies it, people will get really upset for that. So that was one of the first guardrails we put in. He said, hey, if someone asks you if you're a real person or not, just tell them the truth and make light of it. Like make a joke, right? Hey, I'm the hardest working person on my team. I'm an AI assistant. Isn't that funny? Move on to the next question, right? So that's an example of how we kind of, little by little train them up. So, I mean, 100%. And for the people that work with us on this kind of a service, we train it for them, right? You can obviously also help us train it, but we do a lot of the work for you.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, I am going to, let's see, stop. You want to stop your screen share. Thank you, Gus. And then get some breakout rooms. Gus, what is going to be our first question for going into the breakout rooms?
Okay, so I got two good ones. One is, what is an opportunity to use AI in your business? What have you identified as an opportunity to use AI in your business?
Excellent. Okay, you guys, here we go. We're going into the first set of breakout rooms.